Hello, guys. So, I have come up with a very special star of ours, Dr. Vikrant. Hello, Vikrant. Heartiest congratulations.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you so much.
So, Vikrant, give your introduction with your rank.
So, I am Vikrant Gaikwad. I am from Maharashtra. I am from Dr. Ulhas Patil Medical College, and uh, have secured an All India rank of 4,324, and I am from the batch of 2018.
Yes. So, how did you started your journey with us, Vikrant?
My journey at the Bhatia Institute dates back to 2020, ma'am. So, it was COVID time, and I was at home. So we literally had we didn't have any light in front of us. And there was a lot of time. I had studied my second year syllabus already. So I just came across one video of egurukul trending on YouTube, which had Ashwini sir teaching some small bits and pieces of a topic in anatomy. And I was so intrigued that I just went on, installed the app, logged in, and I checked out some free videos. So, and to no avail, the next day I bought the Advanced Plus subscription. And I think it must have taken me 8 days. I binged on the videos of Dr. Ashwini Kumar and completed my notes of anatomy when I was in second year. Though anatomy was one subject which I always liked, but Sir took it to a different level altogether. I mean, I could not comprehend that how can somebody make anatomy logical? And
Yes.
he's a magician, he's a maverick at that.
Only Ashwini sir can do it, making anatomy interesting and logical.
Exactly. So he's a maverick at it. And then after that, it was no end. Though I had studied my second year syllabus already, I saw Dr. Praveen's lectures of pathology, like a major part of pathology. He covers general path and he met really well. So I did watch that and microbiology. This was until my second year exams, and then I continued on with the subscription in my third year. So I did ophthalmology there in toto, like each and every point, right from Parson series to I have to give it to you, ma'am, on that. That Opta was covered in such an elaborate manner that even after I finished watching it, I recommended it to all my juniors. So literally everybody has bought the e-Gurukul notes of Opta from
Okay.
all your videos in my college at least. And it went really well. Like all the topics were covered really well. Even while giving IN could see that a lot of things were there, like the dystrophies and all, which are not covered otherwise, but you have covered everything in detail. And then among the final year subjects, I have done Dr. Jay Arora's surgery videos. Um, quite a lot of them, I think, except for the gastroenterology part, remaining videos I did cover because they're anyways very elaborate and very uh, conceptual. It's like a high level clinical kind of scenario based teaching, which Dr. Jay employs in his videos. Very good approach based teaching. So then those are a few things. Though I am not interested in surgical branches, but definitely those approaches are something which I'll never forget what Dr. Jay has taught, and also yeah, Thamim sir's classes, videos, and that was my journey with the e-Gurukul app until final year. And yeah, after that, then I decided that TND. So there was no debate about it. TND तो भाटिया से ही करना था.
Okay. So, what is that special thing that you felt about TND that you said कि भाटिया से ही करना है TND?
So this is like a personal anecdote. The first TND which was supposed to be there was radio. So I prepared for it, and like a few days before, they had sent the notification that it won't be radio, it will be OFTA. But I missed that notification, and I got to know just one day prior that I have to attend my OFTA TND, radio TND. Obviously, I had not prepared, but I was like, let me trust on Niha ma'am now. Whatever she has taught me in third year, and I ended up getting like 70% questions right in that TND ever TND. And I had just finished my final year back then, ma'am. Like it was, I had come back home after my practical. It was just 3 or 4 days after my practicals that I began with the TND. I was like, because internship में तो time pass आगे जाके थोड़ा बहुत होगा ही, so let's utilize this time initial. And then until internship began, I was done with about 5 subjects of the life. So of the ENT, I would say physiology, covered. And then internship began. So with internship, it was a little difficult. On when I got a little lighter posting, that time I decided to cover up the backlogs. And I believe by the end of November or early December, I had finished with the TND videos. In TNDs also, I would like to specifically mention some TNDs which were excellent. Obviously, Ofta TND was excellent. I never read anything apart from the TND notes later in the last 2 3 months. Uh, Apart from that, radio Rajat, he gives really good techniques to memorize stuff, and he gives a really good approach towards exams. Dr. Sushil's Ortho TND, it was filled with tables, and those tables are the only thing that one actually needs towards the end to prepare. It's really like ortho is one subject which is really volatile, so those tables are they are a holy grail towards the end. Dr. Ashwini's magic is there even in the TND. I mean, I would say videos karo na karo, TND is indispensable. You are doing a great injustice to yourself if you are not attending this TND. And even the other TNDs, Dr. Jay's TND was amazing. Very heavy TND. It was stretched over a long period of time, and so was the case with Hamim's TND. That also took a long time, but it gave me knowledge about stuff, things which I really did not know otherwise. The only TND which was very because medicine obviously is intensive as a subject, but TND was a wonderful, wonderful experience, and I would definitely say that everybody, whoever has been at a good stage in preparation, previous years of MBBS, should definitely do a TND prior to the exam.
Right. So, what were the type of questions in TND? Were they relatable and similar to that of the final exam?
Uh, Certainly, ma'am, certainly. Like TND questions, for example, in anesthesia, there were a few questions in TND which were about which were about the control modes of ventilation, which is not something which we study in. Such things do get asked. INICT, there were questions on that, and even in NEET, there are questions based on that. Even practical questions like what would be the pressure of a vacuum dressing, and that's exactly the question which came this year in my shift. I was in the evening shift,
Mm-hmm.
so such questions do appear. So TN, though I would say the question level of questions in TN higher up than it would be normally. But then that prepares you to take the exam whenever it is difficult, just like it was this year. This year's paper was not very easy. It wasn't like the previous years. So the level of questions in TND is and the discussions are hard. The discussions are very elaborate, and that's what makes the TND the most utility prone.
Right. So, what was your first expression when you opened your NEET PG paper? You were in shift B, I think.
Yes. So my first of the paper was that when the first slot this year they started slots. So with the first slot, it was all goody good. I believe all 40 questions were really good questions, and I must have gotten like about 37 to 38 questions right in that because they were really it was a very funny set which has three questions in consecutively three questions on the vitamin niacin. I don't know. They have a lot of regard for vitamin niacin somehow in PG entrance exams. So every year they will ask about niacin.
Yes.
Then there was one question on bite dot spot, like there was just a spotter, and two, three questions on gonorrhea. So the first impression was like this is an easy paper. Second set came, and then things started getting a little out of hand. They started going a little haywire with the next questions coming up, like updates of PSM, vaccines which have never been asked before, which are not a part of the national schedule. So, with time passing ahead, paper got a little difficult. Eventually, in the second last and last set, I believe it was still much more doable. But the second and third sets were really tough, at least in my.
Right. So this time, like we talked to the students, it was a lot of images that were asked in the paper. So were you able to solve the image-based questions from your notes, from your TNDs? Were they discussed?
Yes, most of it, ma'am, I would say yes. There were like about 40 odd images in our paper. But odd, the definition of odd is that they were not asked previously, but those were there in the notes. Most of it was there in the notes, unlike some images, some rare image of gynae in which they are asking about mesh. Because as MBBS students, with the word mesh for us relates only to hernia. Never think about a mesh for prolapse because that's where we just think about slings.
Yes.
So such images are obviously they are out of the blue for anybody, but otherwise the images were there. Actually, I would give it to Tamim sir on that. His notes contain really diverse images. So when I was in third year and when I was studying medicine, that time I felt like this is just too much. But when I gave the exam and I saw the paper and I saw the exact similar images coming in the exam, that time I realized that why sir had given these images.
Yes. All right. So, Vikrant, what are the three main piece of advice that you would like to give to the fellow colleagues and juniors that you learned from your journey?
So I would say, first of all, building up a base of knowledge is really important. And that is something which you shouldn't rush with. We should take it nice and slow. So, in the quest of finishing stuff, we just finish stuff out of our memory as well. It's
Hmm.
really important to, like, it's equally important to remember as important as it is to know. So knowledge without memory is not sufficient in this entrance exam. So one is to take the preparation nice and slow, acquiring the knowledge, building the content, and making your own notes. Highly advise writing down your own notes. I am a great, I would say, admirer of beautiful notes which people write. And on that note, I would also like to say, ma'am, you have a beautiful handwriting. I mean, I always try to use, try to write like that on my own iPad. Though I don't write that great, like as much as you do, but I try to.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah.
Second thing would be solving as many questions as solving, like at least my fundamental over the past 5 6 months was I questions. So there is no way in which I can solve less than 200 questions in a day. So you can do it in the way of like QBank modules or custom modules or any which ways, like giving GP like tests, I would say, because the third point will be about GP. So the second was will be about the Q. Also, along with QBank instincts, like the questions which you feel are prone to ask, it might get. I book, which I used to call a small book. So, however, it was not so small. So, in that, I had written down some unusual stuff, but I felt like it might come in exam. And literally, 8 questions popped out of that. And 8 questions in this exam is like a very big deal.
Yes. It can be
So,
a
like,
game changer.
it's a big, huge game changer. So, solving the maximum number of questions possible. And third thing is testing. So I believe, ma'am, testing is something which is the most crucial. Like among these three, testing is something which is the most crucial because that will tell you what you are supposed to revise. Revision is the key, but what to revise you will get to know only when you give a test. and you see what you're good and what you're not so good at. For me, like it's different for people. So for like people, it might pharma might not be a very strong subject. For me, pharma was my strongest subject. So I knew that I don't need to revise pharma that much. But for me, for example, I would say for me the shorter subjects were a little tougher. Like derma was not a very good subject for me. So I knew based upon the tests, like I had to do derma extra, I had to revise FMT more. And in this way, tests always help you to understand what you're supposed to revise. So testing is extremely important. I course of I finished my syllabus starting part of my final year. So I started taking my GPs when I was in final year. So from final year to till the date of the exam, 1 week before the exam, I took my last GP. So like 11th को संडे था तो उसके पहले संडे को मैंने मेरा लास्ट जीटी लिया था. So all in all, I believe I have taken about based like mixed platforms, not all from a single place. And one more thing about GT is that I had given GC the Bhatia GCLT in January. And that was the first exam, ma'am, which gave me the confidence that I can do well. Because before that, I used to get like stagnant scores between 130 to 140. Though these are not bad, but they aren't good either. And Bhatia GCLT, which I attempted in January, this was just 2 days before the exam got postponed. So I in that exam I got some 151 questions correct. So it was like a leap. And that test actually gave me a confidence that I might be able to do well. Since this was my first attempt, it just gave me an impetus to study more.
Right. So beautifully explained and a beautiful journey. Would you mention anything about one shot?
Yes, one shot was made free for everyone, and after that I knew which subject I had to watch. I had to watch OFNA. So like I believe just 90 pages of OFNA, 90 pages. Uh, I would say it would be around 140 or 150 even images. I would not call them odd also. It was just 150, 160 even images. I have just done that much eventually for OFTA in the last 4 or 5 days of revision. I just did one shot of OFTA. And believe me, ma'am, I haven't got a single question of OFTA wrong in my final exam.
Oh, wow.
So one shot, I would say OFTA and vibe. I would like to mention vibe over here. So I would say Dr. Saurabh Bhatia, uh, sir gives us updates and he gives us only relevant updates. Though there are a lot of updates, he gives us only relevant updates, which he
Hmm.
did in vibe session.
Hmm.
Was like a phenomenal session. Like he gave really, though pharma is not an image-based subject, but the vibe which Dr. Saurabh Bhatia curated was a really.
Good one.
Apart from that, again, I would say Dr. Ashwini's vibe was amazing because anatomy is all about images.
Yes.
Dr. I would say Dr. Praveen's vibe session was also gold. He covered HEMAT so well. And also, I think Dr. Nasir, his mic, I he entirely from him only during second year. I believe in egurukul 2.0 when his lecture started. That time I had done microbiology from him, and his vibe was absolutely an amalgamation of everything about infection. So it was an amazing session. So all in all, it was a really good journey here at DBMCI over all these years. So I would like to thank everyone, Dr. Nachiket, Dr. Mukesh Bhatia sir, and all of you all, like all the faculty.
So we are all very proud of you, and it's not just your dream come true, it is our dream come true, and we all feel very motivated and elated. That is for what we are working. Sometimes students ask, "Ma'am, what makes you motivated every time?" So actually, it is the student success that makes us happy and motivated every time. We are very, very happy and we wish you all the very best for your future endeavors too.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would also like to take a moment and thank my college here. I come from a private college, ma'am. In Maharashtra, it's in a small city, but
Hmm.
all in all, my college was really supportive in many aspects, and I my college shaped me really well, so that even after a journey in a private college for MBBS, in first attempt I could clear this
Yes.
exam, and I am really happy and excited about it.
Right, and I think this is one example where we always think that whether I should take a seat in a government college or a private college. So, Vikrant, it is actually you who will make the difference, not the college. So, if somebody wants to read and do the hard work, he can at any place that you have wonderfully shown here. And obviously it's a great courtesy. Gratitude is always the best, and we have a gratitude towards our colleges. That is again a very very good part and good gesture of you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
God bless you, all the very best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.